Hello, Jase here. Okay, in this video I want to talk about 3 things you can do as a complete beginner in self-publishing that will get you anywhere from $0 a month to where I got to $50,000 in a month. Okay, I'm going to be real about stuff as well. All right, so be prepared. I don't mince my words here. I'll tell you exactly as it is. Firstly, let me show you when I hit that 50k month. This was it. Now, although this was back in 2024, that Christmas, those principles, those strategies, the things that I learned then from my coaches, and I'll go into that in a second, still work to this day, 2026. Now, the students in my that have my course, you can see Debbie here hit 1,000 in a month. Jeez, I forgot his name now. Gary, I think Gary hit did a $200 day. And Ryan, 1k per book in a month, and he's got another book going to 1k. So it works in 2026, the stuff within my course. I'll leave a link below, by the way, if you just want to check that out. Okay, now, first things first, let's just say, I'm just going to assume if you're watching this, you're like at 0, all right? I know you're probably not, but let's just say you're 0 to get to 50,000 in a month. All right, first thing, I'm going to be real with you. To get to 50,000 in a month, you got to be doing a bit of crazy shit with your ad spend. Okay, I'll be honest. Right, basically, this is the way the roadmap goes. You kind of go from 0 to $1,000. That's kind of hard. Like now in this market, it's like the stuff you learn there, you can kind of use to scale up to like 10k. All right, because after that it's more about like putting more risk into your books, going for books that have high potential and risking more with ads, and then you have the confidence to do that because you kind of learnt a few things up to 1k. So that's why I work with a lot of people up to their first 1k, because once you learn those principles, and a lot of you saw there Debbie, one of my students, she's got that now. She's just going off. She's probably at 5k a month at this point, because now she's learned the system, right? So I think this here is the hard bit. Then after that, to get anywhere from 1,000 a month to 50,000 a month, it's a lot about risking on ads. Okay, so let's just talk about based on that. Then let's talk about getting you to 1,000 a month, and then it's a case of scaling from there. So three things to get you to 1,000 a month. Right, now the first thing is belief. Now this is going to sound a bit wishy-washy if I just say belief. Now just hear me out. Let me give you a quick story. Back when I first started KDP back in 2018, back in the day, and back then you could literally throw anything on Amazon and it would sell. I know this because I was just literally uploading a load of crap books, like blank journals with t-shirt designs on it. As you can see here, I uploaded nearly 3,000 books. I did upload more than 3,000 books, and that stuff was selling. Now this is 2022 here. I had a $105 day. I took a screenshot of that because that was like the most I ever made in a day. It was a complete fluke. Normally I'd make nothing to a few dollars a day. This was a fluke, but my books were absolute pants. All right, back then you can get away with that. Now it's a lot more difficult. Okay, so up to 2022, I got coaching, right? And the belief I got from them was because they've been there and done that. So they kind of gave me a roadmap. And I think this is very important to your success. If you've got no roadmap, you're kind of just doing it on your own, very, very difficult. Literally just having something there to look at, someone there to tell you something, someone that's done it, to show you something, to just tell you something. This changes your perception of everything, and you start believing a lot more. And then that belief, let me just move this here. See, this belief goes into your habits. You work differently, and those little habits, everything compounds. So this word belief, although it sounds a bit wishy-washy, it's got real tangibility, if that's the word, to it, because it changes the way you think. And your thoughts change the way you act, and those actions turn into habits, and ultimately that's what gets you to make a lot of money. And that's all I had. I got the belief from my coaches. They showed me a roadmap, and you know, I've seen what they can do. I could see the roadmap. I had a step-by-step system from them, and I just got on with it. And that's what got me from being stuck below $1,000 a month to just accelerating like crazy to that $50,000 a month. So I believe, have some sort of system, have some sort of roadmap, just whatever it is, just have that. Okay, don't just do it on your own. All right. Second thing is here we'll go. Here, this is a good one. Forget about you. Forget about yourself. I'm up to 1,000 students now in my my program, and the majority of self-publishers that are struggling is because they're creating books for themselves. You kind of want to switch it around. When you start focusing on customer, and the customer's at the forefront of your thinking when you're doing everything, then you create your books specifically for them. You're not too worried. And it does turn into a bit of a job. Okay, I split KDP into two things. There's probably more details to this, but let's just say for argument's sake, it's the people that want to make money and the people that want to be creative. When I was stuck below $1,000 a month, I was just being, I was here. I was just being creative. I was just doing it for fun. And to be honest, I'm surprised I actually made money. It was only because I did it back then. Now, you try and do that, very, very difficult. Okay, now, if you want to make money, you got to be in this column and be in KDP, be in self-publishing to make money. Just be customer focused. You go where the money is. So it's very, very simple. You look at books where there's money, where there's customers spending money, and then you create a book specifically for this customer. And I talk about this a lot in my course, my program. Just focus on one customer to start with, especially if you're below $1,000 a month. You want to get good at just this one customer, because if you've got one customer spending a lot of money on books, like these books each are making thousands plus each per month, sometimes per week, sometimes per day. You find that right customer, and then you know how to position your book for that customer, and you do that with like several different titles. You might try a title that's different, slightly different to the bestsellers, but positions you so you have some sort of different angle, and then you try different titles. And if you're just doing this to the same customer, then the chances are you're going to increase your chances of making money, right? Because the money's there. All you're doing is just getting better and better at extracting the money from that customer. It's a very, very simple system. That's the simple system that I use. That's why my students are able to make sales immediately, like literally in days. They just take themselves from here, and I was like, look, forget that. If you want to make money, right, just go where the money is and get good at creating books where the money is. Okay, so forget about you and just go where the money is. Okay, for now, like once you're making money on your account. Like for example, on my way, once I made 50,000, I kind of knew how to create books that made money, and then I was kind of in between here. I was making books that make money and books that I enjoy doing, but you start seeing it differently when you've made money. You can start putting a bit of your creativity in there. Maybe you use your strengths and creativities to give you a slight edge, to give you a different style title, different angle in a niche. Okay, to make more money, see? But when you specifically go just where the money is to start with, start making money, that gives you momentum, that gives you confidence, and gives you money to try out more stuff, right? Because you'll have money to pay for a VA to design your book, to pay for software, to pay for more ads, to test stuff. So go where the money is first, get the money first, because it gives you more options further down the line, okay? And number 3. Workflow. I say workflow before cash flow. Basically, it's how quick you create books and test them to market. Because this is what most KDP sellers do. Like they self-publish a book to this one customer, and it doesn't sell. So they create another book to this other customer, and it doesn't sell. And then they might try another book to this customer or to another customer, doesn't sell. And that pattern continues, and then what you're left with is like a bunch of books that might have sold here and there. No real system, no real scalability. There's nothing there that's giving you any clue as to what to do next. Okay, so that's why I say workflow. So if you imagine we take the same scenario now, but you make sure this customer firstly has got the money, then you get good at producing a book to this customer. The book's just a vehicle to test whether you're good enough to make money from that customer. This book might fail, but you use that data for the next book to the same customer, and so on and so forth. And this is like a workflow. You just see it as a thing you do on a week by week basis. That's exactly what my students do for my course. They literally just get into producing, publishing. I call it my profit loop method because it starts with publish. I actually start with publish, and then doing it often and consistently, then improving as you go. Okay, so you're taking the action first to kill any analysis paralysis or overthinking, which a lot of self-publishers have. That they're just not publishing enough to learn, and then once they're doing it often, then forget the actual making money bit. They're just publishing often. Then they can improve better, because if you imagine you're publishing all these books to this customer, by the third book you see a pattern and you're able to tweak this book quickly because you're able to make a book quick enough now because you've got workflow, and then that book starts making you money. And that's exactly what my students do, and that's how they're making money. Okay, so that's the workflow. I call it profit loop method. It's kind of like you keep doing it and the byproduct is money. And I go into this profit loop method in great detail in my step-by-step program below. Yeah. Okay, so just to summarize now, let me give you something to take away from this that you can actually use right now. Belief is belief, all right? Up to you. Watch videos like this, talk to someone that's actually doing it, grab a roadmap of some sort, something you could just try, someone that's done it, you can just follow them, because it makes a massive amount of difference to your thinking, which changes your actions, which changes your habits, and don't discount that. That is a huge thing. That's what I'll put as number one. Remember, this is something you could definitely try now. Forget about you. Find that customer on Amazon. One customer that's buying a lot of books for a lot of money, and then just make a commitment to just focus on that customer and think about that customer and just produce books for that customer. Let me just tell you a quick story here about Debbie here. Debbie chose a customer that was basically based on a family member that she knows very well, right? So imagine, I don't know, you got an auntie that loves cats, for example, and then you search on Amazon, there's books for women that love cats, okay? Then in your mind now, what you need to do is just constantly say your Aunt Jenny, I'm just making this up, your Aunt Jenny loves cats. Every time you design a book, thinking about Aunt Jenny. Even better if you design your covers and titles and show it to Aunt Jenny and go, what do you think? Would you buy this? Yes, no, because of this, why? You tweak it. All that shit matters, all these little things, and this is stuff AI can't teach you, and these are the reasons why my students make sales immediately, because I teach them this stuff, which I kind of got from my coaches as well. See, I'm just passing on the knowledge. All right, so Debbie chose a customer she really knows. That's the reason she was able to make money so quickly. She made that 1K within her second month, okay, from nothing, starting from like basically making nothing, okay. And then the last thing is workflow. Very important. How you create books now, because anyone can create books now with AI. You see Amazon flooded with books, okay, but 99% of those people aren't making any sales because they got no workflow. They're doing exactly this, jumping around like rabbits, not knowing anything. They've got no roadmap, no belief in what they're doing. They're not focused on their customer. They're just jumping around from niche to niche. Okay, you need a workflow. You need a one customer and just boom, boom, boom. Just keep getting better at producing books fast, effectively, using AI over and over again for that one customer. And that's the way you make money. Definitely up to your first 1K. Then it's a case of pumping in ads to the books you really believe in, provided you've got the right customer, and going beyond $1,000 a month, maybe even to $50,000 a month. If you get there, let me know, because I want to know about that. Okay, thanks for watching. Like I mentioned a couple of times, I've got a step-by-step program below. It's on discount. It's at discount at the moment. You can grab that. And subscribe, like if this was any value whatsoever. It helps my channel. Cheers.